up, Aki? You good?
Man, it's a lot of my boy just committed suicide. He ended up having cancer. And then my boy's brother shooting himself right now.
Man.
You were saying we had to left.
Gotta be there for them folks, man.
Oh, you see me? You see me? I'm ready to get my mic. Investigative. Uh-oh. I gotta get this class now, y'all.
I'll tell you though, the boys coming out with iron. The songs on there, not gonna lie. They're not, I mean, they're not weird. The only thing they got behind them is that the people that's just really just it's not exactly, they can say it's not it's a new legal one. I got instrumentals. He had the Wu-Tang group. Ready? All right, y'all, let's pray. Anybody gonna lead us in prayer today? Anybody volunteering? Do I gotta pick somebody? Like,
God Benaiah do it. God Benaiah do the prayer. Prayer. Yeah, he ain't got cold. He ain't got cold feet.
yeah, you. All right, I got you. When I get done reciting the commandments, and we get it in. You got it?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give 100% shot.
No doubt. No doubt.
Go ahead and start.
No. I got you. All minds clear? Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael.
Yahuwah Eloheinu. Yahuwah Echad. The book of Shemot, or Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones against the Most High. We will not make any carved image or any likeness of that which is in Shamayim above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. We will not bow down to them, nor serve them. For Yahuwah our El is a jealous El, visiting the wickedness of the fathers on the children, to the third and fourth generation of those that hate him, but showing kindness to thousands of those who love him and keep his commandments. We will not bring the name of Yahuwah our El in vain, for Yahuwah will not leave us unpunished, who brings his name in vain. We will remember the Shabbat day to keep it Kodesh. 6 days we will labor and do all our work. But the seventh day is the Shabbat of Yahuwah our El. For in 6 days Yahuwah made Shamayim and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yahuwah barak the Shabbat day. We will respect our fathers and our mothers, so that our days are long upon the earth. We will not murder. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. We will not bear false witness against our neighbor. We will not covet anything that is our neighbor. Go ahead,
Y'all, I thank everyone. I thank you for allowing everyone to get here safely. Y'all, I pray and I hope that everyone could be the priest and the priest that you call us to be, to get us from out of these curses and allow Eve and Jake to turn away from the wickedness that keeps us under these curses. I've been in many places, y'all. You've blessed me to travel. And I see the poverty and devastation everywhere that I go. I see other nations in our neighborhoods selling and buying to us. I mean, y'all, you know we make the best fried chicken. Why are we buying this from Asians? It's a little joke, I forgot. But in all seriousness, in the matter, I think Quab, I think the Chosen Seed family, I think my family in Louisville, and I think all of your children for trying to wake up the rest of us so that we can return to you, Abba, so that we can relieve these curses. We're tired, we are beaten down, we are downtrodden people, a downtrodden people, but we have the faith of you, and as you stated in Revelation, we are rich because of that. We are returning to our history. We are dressing the way you told us to dress. We are walking in the way you told us to walk. We are carrying ourselves in your image, the image that you created us in. And I thank you for that blessing. I thank you for the Son's blood, for being able to redeem us so that we may walk, so that we may be clear of sin in order to get it right, that the punishment is not instant death. In the name of your Son, Yahushua Mashiach, I pray. Say la.
Right. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You know we make the best fried chicken.
No, you make the best fried chicken. All right, y'all.
Hey, y'all, where those markers at?
You got some? Yeah, they dry erase. They dry erase. All right. So with the ox praying, he mentioned us coming into this word, right? Being downtrodden, being children of the Most High, right? Let me ask y'all a question. You're born as a what? A baby, right? Baby. That's not a trick question. Born as a baby.
Let's move these phones.
What's next? Child. We ain't gotta get that intro. After you're a child, you become a what? An adult. Alright? So, first you're a baby, then a child, then an adult. Right? Now, the way of life. What happens when you become an adult? What starts to happen? When you get older and older, what starts to happen?
Your age?
Responsibilities, but
You start to revert back to being a child.
exactly. You start to go back all the way to this until you die, right? You've seen people get real elderly, they can't do for themselves, you know what I'm saying? Until they check out, right? Right? Now, we are all adults, right? And when you come into the truth, what do you become? So you come from being an adult, right? You get in this truth, you go back to being a baby. Then what happens? Child. Then what?
Most don't get back to this adult part.
Elder. Exactly. Right? But I just said something key. Most don't get to this part. Right? There's a reason why most don't get to being an adult. It's This a reason why people don't even get past being babies, right? But just like in the world, you have people that do this. Now this is in black because this is not how it's supposed to go. You got people that revert back to being a baby. When you come to this truth and you're a babe, then you grow, you're supposed to be on your way up, right? But we got people that get to this stage or even this stage and go backwards. It's a reason for that. Now, do anybody know, I want y'all to just hold on to this stuff. Anybody ever read up on when Samuel was born? How he came about? Story, the backstory behind that? Who can give me a little background?
Samuel's mother, well, the father, Samuel's father, he had 2 wives. I think her name was Penuel. I might not be able to pronounce her name. Penuel and
Penuel? Something like that.
and what was I can't say the name. Anyway, one of the wives was able to bear children and the other one was not. And she wanted to have a child so bad, and they went to one of the feast days. And as they were there, she went into the temple where Eli was the prophet. And she began to pray. And she prayed, and she prayed, and she prayed. And Eli thought she was drunk.
Right. Why do you think she was drunk?
Because she was praying her heart out, and evidently the woman was,
Not quite. She was praying, but she wasn't saying nothing.
Right, she wasn't.
She was praying hard, but she was like this.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is actually the story, right?
Yeah.
So you had this woman, couldn't bear children. She prayed to the Most High to have a child, and she ended up having one. Things happened after that, right?
She committed him back to the Most High.
Exactly.
She kept him until she weaned him, and she took him and made him some clothes, and took him to the temple, and he grew up there under Eli. So
Absolutely.
he was dedicated from his birth.
From pretty much birth, right?
Right.
So we're going to take a look into the story of how Samuel was born and how it relates to this little chart up here, right? How we're going to incorporate a lot of things, man. We're just going to get into it. 1 Samuel chapter 1. 1 Samuel chapter 1. We start at verse 1. 1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramoth Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jorham, the son of Elahuz, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuf, an Ephrathite. And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peniah. And Peniah had children, but Hannah had no children.
Now, this sounds like a sort of a story we've heard before in the law. What's that story? Abraham? Exactly. Sarah, right? Yeah, Hagar, she had Ishmael. Sarah was barren. Right? Go ahead.
And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto Yahuwah of hosts in Shilah. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas, the priest of Yahuwah, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peniah his wife.
So they went up to do a sacrifice, right? And the husband, Elkanah, gave to his wife, and who else?
Peniah, his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions.
So he gave all of them portions of the stuff that he had, right? Read on.
But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion For he loved Hannah.
So he gave this Hannah, who didn't have his children, a worthy portion. He said he loved her, right? Same thing, right? Same type of story as what Abraham said. And keep going. Jacob and with Rachel and Leah, same thing, right? We know that history repeats itself. We know that when you look at the chosen children that came into this world, it was always something with the mother, with the father, it was always something, right? And we know that Samuel is important because who was he sent to ordain? David, right? So go ahead.
But Yahuwah had shut up her womb.
Who did it?
But Yahuwah had shut up her womb.
Satan did it.
But Yahuwah had shut up her womb.
And that be our problem. We look at things that go bad and we be like, oh man, Hashatan, man, he loose. He doing this in my life. He doing that in my life. Who did it?
Yahuwah had shut up her womb.
Yahuwah shut up her womb. Read on.
And her adversary also provoked her sore.
Wait a minute. It says, who did that?
And her adversary also provoked her sore.
Now, when we look at an adversary could have been her sister wife, quote unquote. Could have been Hashatan. Could have been her own boss. You could be your own adversary and don't even realize it. You know what I'm saying? You could be set up to be your own adversary if you allow things to get into your mind and play tricks on you when Yah is doing something to you that could be for you. Right? Get what you got? Get 1 Peter 5 and 8. Because it said her adversary, so you know we got to deal with the adversary, right? 1 Peter 5 and 8.
First Peter chapter 5 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Be sober, be vigilant.
He said be what?
Be sober, be vigilant.
Be sober and be vigilant. Read. Now, when he talking about being sober and being vigilant, you can look at that two ways. What's one way you can look at being sober? Mature. What else you said? In the mind? Yeah. Clear-minded. Right? Not drunken. Right? Not drunk. Physically, you can look at being sober as not being drunk, right? But you can also look at it as not being drunken in what? In the spirit, right? Or being tossed to and fro, having a sound mind, right? So it says, be sober, and what else?
Be vigilant. Because your adversary, the devil.
Your who?
Your adversary, the devil.
She said it was an adversary that wouldn't leave her alone. She kept on, or it kept on picking at her about her not having children. You know what I'm saying? So how would that make one feel? Like a person would think, oh man, well he gave her a worthy portion. That should be enough. You know what I'm saying? That should compensate for her not having children. It don't work like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Money or things don't make up for stuff or that missing piece that you got inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Like you see rich people that's miserable. Money don't make up for what they don't have. Read on.
Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
So he went around and he was like, I know she mad about not having no child. So I may use such and such to get at her. Or I may use this person to get at her. Or this situation to get at her. Or I might just go deal with her myself. Right? Either way, the adversary is searching and seeking for a weak point inside of you. This is what he's looking for. Especially if you call yourself strong. He's searching, he's seeking, he's waiting. The people that's out in the world that ain't dealing with nothing, ain't dealing with no word, they ain't worried about it. So he ain't worried about them. Y'all already in wickedness. I want the ones who trying to do right. I want the ones who trying to walk this thing out for the Most High. So as soon as I see that soft spot, I'm going to attack. Right? So he go around seeking whom he may devour, right? But what do we use to counter that? What do we use to counter the adversary? Precept? Okay.
Law.
The law. Right? What in the law shows us what counters our adversary? Follow the commandments. But it's a specific place. I used to say this almost every lesson. It's a specific spot where he talk about him taking care of our adversaries for us. Huh? You was right. Exodus 23. Yeah, Exodus 23, verse 20. Exodus 23 and 20. Somebody been studying, or you just got a good memory? Exodus 23. And get matter of fact, start at verse 22. No, we can start at verse 20. Start at verse 20. Exodus 23 and 20. Because we're talking about the adversary, right? We know the adversary is seeking whom he may devour. Right? So we gotta have something in our law that shows us how to combat the adversary. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 23 and 20. Behold, I send in Malachim before you to keep you in the way.
Who is this? He said, I send a Malachim before you to keep you in the way. Who is this? The Mashiach, right? Because he told you that he's the what? The way. Right? Read.
And to bring you into the place which I have prepared.
Just like with Joshua. I'm sending him to bring you into my promised land. I'm telling him to come send you into the kingdom. Right? Read.
Beware of him.
Do what?
Beware of him.
Because it's a lot of non-Messianics popping up on the scene now. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't think that it was this many, but it's been more and more. Getting convinced every day that Mashiach ain't real. He said, beware of him. They ain't being aware. They said, all we need is Yah. Well, you don't know that Yah sent him in his place the whole time. We're going to see that towards the end of the lesson too. Go ahead.
Beware of him. Obey his voice.
Do what?
Obey his voice.
Obey his voice. Obey his commands. If you love me, do what? Keep my commandments. Right? Read.
Provoke him not.
Provoke him not. Read.
For he will not pardon your transgressions.
He ain't going to pardon your transgressions if you provoke him. Now, a person that get baptized, right? What did he just do for you? Pardon your sins, right? What happens if you go back to doing the stuff that you used to do? Are they pardoned still? No. Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter told us, if a man change from his wickedness and commit sin no more, don't commit no more iniquity, then them things is gone. Right? That means it's still a walk. It's still a battle. You still got to fight through it. It's not just, oh yeah, my sins is gone. I'm good. It don't work like that. When you get a job and you get hired, do you go and get paid for not doing no work? No. You just got hired. That's all that was. You actually got to do the job. Read.
Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions. For my name is in him.
So what happened?
For my name is in him.
I wonder what angel this could be. Who do they justify this as being in the Tanakh? Right? It's another story. Keep going.
But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice.
But if you do obey his voice, everybody in here obey his voice, right? We're keeping his commandments, right? If you obey his voice, what are you going to do?
And do all that I speak. Then will I be an enemy unto thine enemy.
I'm going to be an enemy to your enemy and a what?
And an adversary unto your adversary.
So this cancels out your adversary right there. I'm going to be an adversary to your adversary. I'm going to fight for you. All you got to do is listen to me. But I need you to listen to me. Right? Go back to 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel.
1 Samuel 1 and 6.
And again, just looking at that point that you could be an adversary to yourself. Romans chapter 7, lay that out. Your flesh versus your ruach. Right? You literally have an adversary built into you. Your flesh. So not only is your flesh trying to get at you, Hashaitan is trying to supercharge your flesh. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure we prayed up and in the Ruach. Right? Go ahead.
And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because Yahuwah had shut up her womb.
He tried to grieve her. Because the Most High ain't giving no children. She watching the other wife go and get all of these children. You know that vexation that she got because we read it before. Right? With Leah. The difference between Leah and Hannah and Sarah is what? What did they do to get children?
They use a handmaid.
They use handmaids. What was that showing the lack of? Faith. She didn't do that. We're gonna see a difference. Go ahead.
And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of Yahuwah, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And
So
why
she was
is
so grieved that she wouldn't even eat. You ever been that depressed or that down or that you won't even eat? It's tough. She want to be able to give her husband a child, something to carry his name on with, right? And it's backwards now. I don't want no kids. You know what I'm saying? Well, keep reading.
And why is thy heart grieved? Am not I better to you than 10 sons?
Just like a man, right? We try to, you know what I'm saying, extend ourselves. Man, I'm better than 10 sons. Baby, I done gave you this, I done gave you that. We ain't good. What's up? Don't worry about that. You good. But we don't understand that in her mind, she's going through it because she want to be able to provide something for you that she can't do right now. You know what I'm saying? But as men, you know, we come with that hard exterior. Baby, I got you, you know what I'm saying? I done got you the Rolls Royce, you know what I'm saying? We ain't hurting for nothing. But it ain't like that. Things don't compensate for what she want to do for him. Read on.
So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli, the priest, sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of Yahuwah. And she was in bitterness of soul.
She was in what?
She was in bitterness of soul.
She was in bitterness of soul. Again, like what we was talking about with that depression, right? It says her soul was bitter. You know what I mean? It's a difference between just a bitter woman, you know what I'm saying, and her soul being bitter. She was grieved to the soul. Read on.
And prayed unto Yahuwah.
She did what?
Prayed unto Yahuwah.
Well, she was of a bitter soul. She prayed. A lot of us don't do that. A lot of us get bitter in the soul, and what do? We try to fix it. I want to fix it myself. And then you end up messing it up even worse. Anybody ever seen the show That's So Raven? Right? When she had premonitions, right? Of things that are going to happen in the future. Right? And instead of relaxing and, you know, praying to the Most High that this won't happen, what does she do? She trying to go out and pick everything she can do to fix it herself, by herself, and then what ended up happening? Same thing she feared was gonna happen, it happened. You can't put your hand to this thing on your own. Everything that we ever done was with the help of the Most High, right? So it should be no different. When you want a son or whatever, you had to go to the Most High. He the one who did you like that. Matter of fact, get chapter 2 right quick. Get chapter 2 and start at verse 6. Start at verse 6.
1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. Yahuwah killeth.
He do what?
Yahuwah killeth and maketh
My
alive.
God wouldn't do that. Dude, I believe that was Satan. He said he do what?
Yahuwah killeth and he maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up.
He bring down to the grave and bring up. Matter of fact, I want y'all to put y'all thinking caps on. We're going to deviate just a little bit. I want to put y'all thinking caps on. Keep going. He bring down to the grave and he bring up. Now we know with Hamashiach, it was only by the hand of Yah that he got killed, right? and by the hand of Yah that he rose up in 3 days, right? Let's see something else. Keep going.
Yahuwah maketh poor and maketh rich.
He made poor and he made rich.
He
You in poverty because of who? Yah put you in that situation. Why? It ain't for you to know. But how to get out of it, guess who you got to lean on?
Him.
You got to lean on him. All these get rich quick schemes, all that stuff don't work. He put you in a position for a reason. To make you lean on him. He said he made poor and he made rich. Keep going.
Yahuwah maketh poor and he maketh rich. He bringeth low and he lifteth up.
He bring low and he lift up. This is the second time he talking about somebody going down and somebody coming up. Somebody going down and somebody coming up. He said rich and poor. Now what's the next verse he said?
He raiseth up the poor out of the dust.
He do what?
He raiseth up the poor out of the dust.
And what else?
And he lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill.
Lift up the beggar from the dunghill to do what?
To set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of esteem. For the pillars of the earth are Yahuwah's, and he hath set the world upon
Now
them.
what can we go to reference this? That too.
Set no pillars.
That's another topic. But when he says he raised up the poor out of the dust, he lift up the beggar from the dunghill to set him among princes and to make him inherit the throne of esteem. What can we go to see where this happened? What y'all thinking, Captain? We'll read it again. He raised up the poor out of the dust, lift up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of esteem. Who?
The prodigal son, the lost, when he came back and his father put all the stuff on him and raised him back up to where he was.
Yeah, not quite what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Not quite what I'm looking for.
What about
Lazarus.
Bang! Say it again, louder. Lazarus. Get Luke 16. Mashiach always quoted from the book somewhere. He said he make poor and he make rich. He bring down to the grave and he lift up. Right? When he's talking about the beggar, he says, I bring the poor out of the dust and the beggar from the dunghill to sit him up in esteem with the princes. Luke chapter 16. Let me see what verse that is. You can't discredit a man to know the book is.
Talking about verse 19.
Is that it? Yeah, get that.
There was a certain man, Luke chapter 16, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day.
Who made him like that? Y'all made him like that. Read on.
And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus.
And there was a who?
Certain beggar named
There
Lazarus.
was a beggar named Lazarus, right? Read. Who made him like that? It had to be the Most High. Read on.
Which was laid at his gate, full of sores.
Full of what?
Full of sores.
He in the dust. He pull up the poor out of the dust. Go ahead.
And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table.
He make it rich and he make it poor. Sound familiar, right? Read on.
Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the Malachim into Abraham's bosom.
He says, I bring down, because where he had to go first when he died? In the grave. But then he says he was carried up by who?
The Malachims.
And he brought him up, right? Read.
Into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom.
So I wonder who Lazarus was up there with. Kings, princes, Abraham himself, right? So when Mashiach is saying this, and they thinking that he's crazy, what is he quoting from? What is he giving a parable from?
From Samuel.
He giving it from Samuel. This is why we got to pay attention to our own law and prophets, so we can be able to do the same thing, right? Go back to 1 Samuel. But again, we looking at, get to chapter 1 again. But again, we looking at the fact that the Most High is who put you in these positions. Don't get caught up on it. Don't try to get out yourself. You need to lean on him, right? Remember he said don't lean to your own understanding, right? And then he told you that he is understanding. He wants you to lean on him, right? Pick up where you left off in 1 Samuel chapter 1.
1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 11. And she vowed a vow.
She did what?
She vowed a vow
Mm.
and said, O Yahuwah of hosts, if thou will indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget your handmaid, but will give unto your handmaid a man child, then will I give him unto Yahuwah all the days of his life.
What did she do in verse 11? She made a vow. What does this take us to? What does this take us to? What does this take us to? What do we got to go back to?
The law.
We got to go back to the law. She just made a vow. Was she out of order for making a vow? How you know? She could have been. Was she out of order for vowing a vow in front of a priest? Was she? How do you know? What law? She didn't say nothing.
You're not supposed to make a vow with your husband, but that's if he hears it, right?
I like that.
He can override the vow.
The husband can override the vow. Is the husband there right now?
No.
So I don't. Where do I gotta go to find it?
The law?
I know that, but where?
Yeah.
We supposed to have our study game up, right? We did a whole lesson on making vows. Y'all remember that? Where is that? You wasn't here. Mine get a pass. You wasn't here.
He been watching the video, so.
You gotta know where to go. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. Somewhere in Leviticus. Get Numbers chapter 30. Numbers chapter 30. And pick it up at verse 3.
Numbers chapter 30 and verse 3. If a woman also vow a vow.
If a woman do what?
Vow a vow.
She just vowed a vow, right? Read on.
Unto Yahuwah and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house.
Being in her what?
Being in her father's house, in her youth.
In her what?
In her youth.
Somebody write that word youth down. Matter of fact, I'll write it up here. Because baby and child, that sound like what to y'all?
Youth.
Sound like youth, right? All this stuff don't connect. I ain't just saying some stuff. If a woman make a vow in her youth, being in her father's house, read.
And her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she have bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her.
What is she bound? When she made a vow to the Most High, she bound her what?
Bound her soul.
She bound her soul. She bound her soul. She bound her soul. Read on.
Peace at her. Then all her vows shall stand.
If her father keep his peace, then all her vows shall do what?
Her vows shall stand.
Now, Quad brought up something about a priest's daughter before. Y'all remember that? Showing y'all the lake of fire and how she's supposed to burn if she whore herself out. Y'all remember that? Now, the priest being her father would be who? The priest that was her father, who was Israel's father, would be who? Who? Oh, you probably don't understand that. I think I heard it. That's like that. Who? No. We talking about Israel.
Oh.
Israel was a daughter. Right? So who? Yeah. Right? So it says if her father hear it and he don't disallow it, then she's bound her soul to that vow. Didn't Israel make a vow in her youth? Did she? I want y'all to hold on to that, right? But keep reading.
Wherewith she have bound her soul shall stand. But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth, not any of her vows or of her bonds wherewith she have bound her soul shall stand.
So we know Yah didn't disallow it. He let that thing go forward. Right? Because she was vowing to be what? What was Israel vowing to be? On that mount? A wife. And to follow her husband. Right? Y'all starting to see a picture? Okay, go ahead.
And Yahuwah shall forgive her, because her father disallowed her.
So now, being forgiven for those iniquities was out of the question. Her father didn't disallow it. He had to send Israel through the ringer. Ma'ak was talking about the curses during the prayer, right? You gotta get sought for that. Read.
And if she had at all an husband when she vowed or uttered aught out of her lips.
So now we talking about Hannah, right? And she vowed a vow with a husband. She got a husband, right? But didn't she leave her husband? Right? She wasn't with her husband when she went to make this vow. Because she meant what she said. Or you would think that she meant what she was going to say, right? To the Most High. Read.
Wherewith she have bound her soul, and her husband heard it, and held his peace and her in the day that he heard it. Then her vow shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband disallow her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she has bound her soul, of none effect.
Who was the husband of Israel at this time? When Israel made that vow, who was the husband? Who became the husband? Mashiach. The lamb. Right? Did he disallow it? No. He let that thing stand. Right? So this woman vowed this vow to keep the commandments, to be faithful to her husband, no idolatry or nothing. So that vow stood. So when we look over here at Hannah in 1 Samuel, when she made this vow to the Most High, with her husband not being present, and her only going to the Most High, right? It got to stand. She didn't speak it out loud because who was present? A priest. Just in case he would have thought he was going to, step in there. She didn't speak it out loud. This was between her and the Most High. Go back. 1 Samuel. This is how serious this woman was. And this is how serious we ought to be when it comes to this word. You done brought yourself into a covenant again through Mashiach to the Father. Right? How serious do you got to be about it? Because guess what? Our souls is already bound. We made the vow a long time ago. Now that you claim to know this truth, right? Take hold to the covenant that's rightfully yours anyway, right? We bound to it by our soul. You don't only owe it to Yah to do, right? You owe it to yourself. You feel what I'm saying? You owe it to yourself. Go ahead and get where you left off at.
In 1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 11. And she vowed a vow and said, O Yahuwah of hosts, if thou will indeed look on the affliction of your handmaid.
Wait a minute. You will look on the affliction. What, Israel afflicted somewhere one time when y'all looked down? Something like that?
Absolutely.
When he brought us up out of Egypt? Right? Read on.
Affliction upon your handmaid, and remember me, and not forget your handmaid, but will give unto your handmaid a man
A
child.
who?
A man child.
I wonder if Israel had a man child that was given to her by the Most High, something like that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Go ahead.
Then I will give him unto Yahuwah all the days of his life.
So, she got a son, and then she said, I'm going to give him back. I want the son, but I'm vowing a vow to give the son back all the days of his life. How tough is that?
Very.
How tough is that? How many of y'all would have kept that vow? I just want to know, this is you giving me this child, and as soon as you give me the child, I'm going to give him back to you. How tough is that? Who right now could let go of their baby when they was first born? That's tough. But she made a vow. Her soul was bound to it, so she had to do it. Read on.
And I will give him unto Yahuwah all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. And it came to pass, as he continued praying before Yahuwah, that Eli marked her mouth.
He did what?
He marked her mouth.
Go ahead.
Now Hannah, she spake in her heart.
She did what?
She spake in her
She
heart.
spake in her heart. He looking like, she did what now?
She spake in her heart.
Uh-huh.
Only her lips moved,
Only her lips is moving. Read on.
but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken.
Because remember, she just came from feasting. They ate and they drank. It's like, man, this old drunk. What's wrong with this woman? What'd he say to her?
And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken?
How long you gonna be drunk? You don't come up here to the temple all drunk. What's wrong with you? Right? You think the same thing. Somebody up there telling him, man, something wrong with her, man. He said, how long you gonna be drunk? Right? But he don't realize that she's up there making a serious vow to the Most High. Right? What did that priest? What type of judgment was that? Was that righteous judgment?
No.
I mean, not to a fault, but it wasn't righteous judgment, right?
You jump to
You jumped,
Give it back.
right? Read on.
Put away the M-Dog, Mad Dog 3030. Put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, No, my master, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit.
I'm a woman of a what?
A sorrowful
We
spirit.
talked about that sorrowful spirit a couple weeks ago, and how that thing can bring you so low to the point of death. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
I have drinking neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before Yahuwah. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of
Don't
Belial.
think I'm out here tripping. Don't count me as no daughter of Belial. I'm really up here. I'm just trying to get something done, get something off my chest. Because before this, all of these years that went past, she done came up here year by year. She never spoke out about it. She kept quiet. And when you hold that type of feeling on the inside of you for years and years and years, you're going to bust. She had to let it go to the Most High. That's the same thing with each and every one of us. Don't hold in what's going on with you. You got to let it out. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else, you got to be a listening ear. This stuff is life or death. The afflictions that our people deal with are result of these curses. It will lead them to death. It will lead us to death. You got to be an ear. Don't jump to a conclusion and say, oh man, such and such is this, such and such is that. No. Go holler at that person. Go deal with them. Understand their affliction. Understand their pain. And then make judgment from there. Right? And don't, like I said, don't hold it back, man. We got brothers and sisters here for a reason. If we're supposed to be that, let's be that. Right? Read on. She had to let it go. She had to let it go to the Most High. She talked to her husband about it. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't working. He ain't giving me the answer I need to hear. And sometimes the Most High is the only ear that you can depend on. Go ahead.
Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hereto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace. And the Most High of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let not thine handmaid find grace in thy
He
sight.
said, let your handmaid find grace in your sight. Can somebody look up what Hannah means, what her name means, very quick? It's strong. For her name. It means what? It means grace. Names have meanings to it, right? And this particular woman's name was Grace, and she was leaning on the grace of the Most High to actually give her a son for her husband, right? Thought that was kind of cool. Go ahead.
Then
Read
Eli
verse 18
answered.
again.
What verse?
No, verse 17. Go ahead.
Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the Most High of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thine handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad.
Why wasn't her countenance sad no more? She just went and prayed to the Most High, but her countenance, when she left there, she came better than, she left better than what she came. Then she got up and ate. She was feeling good. She gave it to the Most High. She let her burdens be cast on him. Her sorrows cast on him. She let him carry that. Right?
Preach.
Why we can't do that? What's so hard about that? Is it because you can't see the Most High? Is it because you don't hear him talking back to you in your mind when you pray to him? Right? How many of y'all done had problems with prayer before? You know what I'm saying? You done got to the point where you're praying and you feel like there's no answer. Or you praying and you feel like, man, I'm just talking to myself. I've been there. I've been there before. I've been to the lows and felt like, man, I'm just talking to myself. I'm crazy sitting up here talking because I was that low. I've been there. It's real. But you got to find a way to push through that and lean on the Most High, because that's nobody but the adversary trying to get you up out of what the Most High told you to do in the first place. So when she left there, she didn't say, hey, I'm about to go and get my handmaid or whatever to sleep with my husband to give me a child. She left there like, man, back. I'm good. We good. Right? Hey, man, give me a plate. Oh, man, what's up with her? She came back there all right? Get what you got. Get 2 Corinthians 1 and 3. 2 Corinthians 1 and 3. She cast all her burdens on the Most High.
2 Corinthians 1 and 3. Esteemed be Yahuwah, even the Father of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach, the Father of mercies, and the power of all comfort.
The what?
And the power of all comfort.
She went to him, heavy laden, had an issue. Went to him, he said he's the power of all comfort. Right? When she left there, she was comforted. Read on.
Who comforted us in all our tribulation.
To do what?
Who comforts us in all our tribulation.
Some of our tribulation.
All our
A
tribulation.
piece of our tribulation.
All our tribulation.
Only with our financial issues.
All our tribulation.
Everything you go through, he told you I'm here for you. If you ain't got nobody else, you got me. But you got to believe that you got him. It's a difference from saying it and professing it, just talking. Hey man, I know I can talk to the Most High, I can pray. It's a difference between saying it and believing it. I'm a witness of it. Read on.
Who comforts us in all our tribulations, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble, by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted of Yahuwah.
So he put us in these situations to get comforted so we can do it and help other people. Right? Go back to that first Samuel. So when she left there, she was comforted. Matter of fact, get Psalms 119, 73. Psalm 119, 73. She went to him in prayer and was comforted. Did she get an answer? Did she say, did she hear the Most High say, I'm going to be your child?
No.
No.
What is that? Psalm
119. And I think it's verse 73.
That's where
73? I said 73.
I think that's where we have the problem that we be wanting to answer right then.
Yeah, 73, right?
Yeah.
Psalms,
No. Get verse 70. Get verse 75.
Psalms 119 and verse 75. I know, O Yahuwah, that thy judgments are right.
I know that your judgments are right. You made me barren. I know it's a reason why you did that. I know you right for doing it. But now I'm leaning on you to take it off of me. Right? Read on.
And that thou in faithfulness has afflicted
That
me.
you what? You in what?
In faithfulness have afflicted
You
me.
in faithfulness have afflicted me. Sometimes when you go through a storm, it's for him to bring you out on the other side. Not just for you to stay in there and die. He says right here, in faithfulness you afflicted me. You was right for doing what you did. I had to go through what I went through. Read.
Let, I pray thee, thy merciful kindness be for my comfort.
What'd he say?
Let, I pray thee, my merciful kindness be for my comfort, according to thy word unto thy servant.
He said, let your merciful kindness be to my comfort now. Now that I done been afflicted, I done went through this, I gotta lean on you. Let your word be comforting to me. Let you be comforting to me. Right? A lot of us lose sight of that. A lot of us lose sight of that. Go back. Matter of fact, go read verse 77, because this is important.
Verse 77. Let thy tender mercies come unto me, that I may live.
That I may what?
That I may live.
That I may live. Hold on. That I may live. Because when you're born, you're alive, right? You know?
Let thy tender mercies come unto me, that I may live. For thy law is my delight.
For your what?
The law is my delight.
For your law is my delight. That woman's soul was bound by what? By the law. All this stuff don't mean something. You know. Follow me. Go back to 1 Samuel. Start at verse 19.
1 Samuel 1 and 19. And they arose up in the morning early, and worshipped before Yahuwah, and returned and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and Yahuwah remembered her.
Keep going. They was happy. They was excited. Right?
He knew her.
He knew her. Go ahead.
Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Shamuel, saying, Because I have asked him of Yahuwah. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto Yahuwah a yearly sacrifice and his vow.
All right. Hold on right there. She conceived. She had the baby, right? So she was faithful throughout this process. She didn't try to go by no other means to do this. She had the baby, holding on to her giving her problems to the Most High, right? She said she called his name Samuel because she is asked of Yahuwah, right? Now, read that verse 21 again.
Verse 21. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto Yahuwah the yearly sacrifice and his vow.
Uh-oh. We come back to this now. Now it's time for her to give him back. Remember, she told him, you give me a son, I'm going to give him back. Now it's time, right? You got to imagine that pulsating feeling like, man, I know I said, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
But Hannah went not up.
But who didn't go up?
Hannah went not up.
She didn't go up this time. Read on.
For she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that we may appear before Yahuwah, and there abide forever.
Hold on. Now, she said, I ain't going. I ain't going up until the baby get weaned. Weaned from what? From her breast, right? She like, I need more time with him. Why? Why did she say that? Why did he put that in the book? I can't give him to her. I can't give him to him completely unless he's what? Weaned. Why?
The child can't
Because
handle
he
the
was
meat.
a baby. And he had to
Say it again.
Child can't handle the meat.
Yeah.
The baby gotta
You got
get sucked at first, right?
You can't.
In order to be away from the mother. She was smart.
Yep. Isaiah
Isaiah 28.
Touch the neighbor and say, do you get that?
Isaiah 28.
He's gonna learn today.
Right. Isaiah 28.
Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge?
Who was Samuel? What was he?
He was a priest.
He was a prophet, right? Whom shall he teach knowledge? Read on.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Who shall he make to understand doctrine? Wasn't Samuel one of the wisest prophets we got in this book? Read on. Those that are what?
Them that are weaned from the milk
Oh, man. And what else?
and drawn from the breast.
In order for him to receive what the Most High had for him, she had to get him ready. Right? That's why when we come in this word, we can't just jump to being an adult. You know, that's what a lot of people do, right? They jump in here and they, oh man, I'm a teacher now. I know Deuteronomy 28. No, that don't work like that. Lead a lot of people astray like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through this process right here. You got to be a baby. Then you grow up to be a child. Then you become an adult. It's a process. You do more hurt than good if you don't get that milk. Way more hurt than good. You'll choke yourself out. Right? So she knew this. She like, hey, I'm going to give him to him when he weans. Let's go back to 1 Samuel. Did the Most High have a problem with that? No. No. Got to get through that milk first. Go ahead.
1 Samuel 1 and 23. And Elkanah her husband said unto her, do what seemeth thee good.
Hey, what's saying good to you, baby? I see you got this. You know what I'm saying? You done prayed. The Most High gave you the baby. Do your thing, right? Husbands, your wives know what they talking about. More times than not. You know what I'm saying? You got to know when to pick your spots. Because her husband could have said, oh, no, girl, you made that vow. You better come on. Said, no, do what's saying good to you. You know. You know best. All right? Read.
Tarry until thou have weaned him. Only Yahuwah established his word. So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her with 3 bullocks and 1 ephah of flour and a bottle of wine, and brought him unto the house of Yahuwah in Shiloh. And the child was young.
And the child was what?
And the child was young.
Now the child was young, right? So he went from being a baby to a child. Then he's going to eventually grow up to be Samuel, as we know it, the prophet and adult, right? It's a process. You know.
And they slew a bullock and brought the child to Eli. And she said, O my master, as thy soul liveth, my master, I am the woman that stood by thee here, praying unto Yahuwah. For this child I prayed, and Yahuwah hath given me my portion, which I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to Yahuwah. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to Yahuwah, and she worship Yahuwah there.
So now she says, hey, remember, I was that crazy woman. You thought I was that crazy woman over here when I was praying. What I was praying for was that the Father give me a son, and when he gave me a son, I was going to give him back. He held up his end of the deal. I'm back to repay mine. Right? Remember, he told you, you better repay those vows. It's better for you not to vow at all than not to pay what you owe. Right? So she came back to pay her vow. Right? Read on. Matter of fact, no. Read verse 27 again.
Verse 27. For this child I prayed, and Yahuwah hath given me my petition, which I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to Yahuwah. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to Yahuwah, and he worship Yahuwah there.
So, we're adults. Alright, we here. Right? When we come into this truth, we have to do what? Get Matthew 18. We have to do what? We got to become children again. We got to start all over. But guess who got to lend you to the Most High? His mother, Hannah, lent him to Yahuwah for the rest of his life. Guess who got to do it for you? You. Absolutely right. You do. You know how you got a guardian when you were a baby? You know what I'm saying? They put on all the papers. Who was your guardian or whatever? You your guardian. Right? So now it's up to you to come back to being a baby. That Matthew 18. Verse, I think 3.
Matthew chapter 18. I'll pick it up at 2.
All right.
And Yahushua called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as a little child, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of Shamayim.
He talking to grown men. He talking to adults. He wouldn't grab the child and say, unless you become like this, you ain't got no place with me. You can't inherit the kingdom. Right? So they had to do it all over again. They had to go back and revert. But this was a hard saying for somebody that don't know what this is about. This is a hard saying. Baby, a child? What you talking about, man? I'm bringing this little fella. I know more than him. The point. When you become a baby, what do they say babies are what? Sponges. So you can soak up the information that's presented to you. But when he wants you to become this baby again, he only wants his information. Sort of how Adam and Eve fell off in the first place. Right? They were as children, babies. He told them, don't eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Because you're going to soak up everything. I don't want you to know all that. That ain't for you. I want to bring you up how I want to bring you up. Right? Get John chapter 3. John 3 and 1. John 3 and 1.
John chapter 3 and verse 1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Yahushua by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest except the Most High be with him. Yahushua answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the Most High.
So he just basically told him the same thing. Unless a man be born again, he can't see the kingdom. Period. Point blank. Again, this is hard speech to people who don't know what he's talking about. What are you talking about? What did he say? I know we done read this. You probably done read this 1,000 times. They go 1,001.
Nicodemus saith unto him,
Mm-hmm.
how can a man be born when he is old?
What is this showing him to be?
Unlearned.
Carnal. Carnal. To be carnally minded is what? Death. This is what he's telling them. You can't always think with this. You can't always think with your flesh, right? How can a man be born again when he is old? Read.
Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?
Avoid foolish question. Come on, man. You know that's not right. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Yahushua answered, verily, verily, I say unto you, except a man be born of water and of spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of the Most High.
Can y'all tell me what's inside of the mother that keeps the baby flowing? What's in that bowl? What's inside of the baby that makes them a baby, a living organism? Spirit. You just say, hey man, I want you to go through the same process, just in a different way. Right? Read.
Into the spirit, and he can enter into the kingdom of the Most High. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I say unto you, ye must be born again.
Don't trick that I said you got to be born again. And the reason being is this. As an adult, when you became an adult in this world, what were you doing? Get Titus 3 hot. What was you doing? Who said it? Sinning. All types of madness, all types of garbage you was doing. I can't accept you into my kingdom like that. You done already known what you thought you knew. You've already been corrupted to the point past corruption. You done already took all this stuff on. I can't take you like that, man. I need you to start over. I need you to start over. Right? Titus 3. I bet, hey, whoever stole the ox Titus, give it back. You need that. Like, right now.
Okay, just located.
Titus 3 and 3. So when you was an adult, when you grew up in this world as an adult, you had all type of filthiness on you. Go ahead and read that. Titus 3 and 3.
Titus 3 and 3. For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, and hating one another. But after that, the kindness and love of the Most High, our Savior, toward man appeared. How many of those things sounded like how you was when you was in the world? At least one, right? I was this, I was that, I was this, I was that. But it says, but then what happened? But after that, the kindness and love of the Most High, our Savior, toward man appeared, not by the works of righteousness which we had done, but according to his mercy, he saved us. But according to his mercy, he saved us out of that stuff, right? He saved us out of that mental bondage, right? We ain't physically out of captivity, but he saved us up here, right? What do we call that? Those things that you did when you was young. We call those what? Youthful what? Those things that you desired to do when you were younger, or desired to do before you came into this truth. We will call those what? Youthful lust. Right? 2 Timothy 2 and 21. We will call those youthful lust. It's all gonna make sense. This youth thing, this live thing, bound to a soul, the law, all this stuff gonna make sense. 2 Timothy 2 and 21. If a man therefore purge himself from these.
Do what?
If a man therefore purge himself from these.
Purge somebody else.
Purge himself from
Purge
these.
himself. You got to deliver yourself from wicked people. Deliver yourself from you. Deliver yourself from evil. Not from captivity. All right? Read on.
He shall be a vessel unto honor.
He shall be a what?
A vessel unto honor.
If you give the sacrifice of yourself, you're going to be a vessel unto honor. To who? To the Most High. Read.
Sanctified and meet for the master's use. And
For whose use?
for the master's use.
Go ahead.
And prepared unto every good work.
Mm-hmm.
Flee also youthful lust.
Flee youthful lust. Flee from those things that had you going before you came into this word. Right? Flee those. You got to run away from them. Put them down. I'm talking about full speed ahead. You got to get away from them. Because if you don't flee them and they follow you into this and you become a child in this truth, right? What they going to make you do? It's going to take you back. Then once you're a baby and you go back in this truth, where you go?
Yeah.
You go back into the world, being that same person you was before you came into this truth. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. The only difference is the one that you're supposed to have is supposed to go this way. On out. Right? When we all doing all twists and turns and coming back and want to go back this way and all, oh, ain't supposed to go like that. We ain't figure eighting. We're supposed to be one way. Right? Read that verse 22 again.
Verse 22. Flee also youthful lust, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace, with them that call on Yahuwah out of a pure heart.
Read verse 21 again. I wanted to say something about verse 21. The end of verse 21.
Verse 21. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for his master's use, and prepared unto every good work.
So Samuel was consecrated to the Most High, right? And he was used for the good work of the Most High, right? Same thing with us. Let's get Ezekiel 16. Because we're talking about being a baby again and all of these different type of things, right? Right? Ezekiel 16, pick it up at verse 3. Let's start off a little earlier than we usually start. Start off a little earlier.
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 3.
Now the children of Israel, right? Because we know that this is what this chapter is talking about, right? Children of Israel were where? Before we came out of captivity. What was the first place we was in captivity? Egypt, right? We already had our own identity. We knew who we was. Other people knew who we was, right? We was the children of Israel. Growing and multiplying in Egypt. We was good at one point, and then things went downhill. But we were adults, right? We were our own nation. So we thought. Ezekiel 16:3.
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 3. And say, thus saith the master power unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
Your what?
Your birth and your nativity is of the land of Canaan.
That's where I seen you at. All right? This is where your birth was at. This is where it all began. All right? Read.
Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother an Hittite. And as for thy nativity, it's in thy days thou was born, thy navel was not cut.
Your what?
Your navel was not cut.
So now he's talking about somebody that's a baby. Right here, right? He says, your navel was not cut. Read.
Neither was thou washed in water to supple thee.
You know when you have a baby and the doctors come in and they wash the baby up and, right? Read.
Thou was not started at all, nor swaddled at all.
You know when they swaddle the baby to make sure the baby is warm and not cold and still got that in the womb type feeling, right? It said you ain't had none of that when you was a baby. You was just out here. Right? Read. Ain't nobody care about the children of Israel. Read.
None I pitied you.
Nobody even cared. How many of y'all can walk past a baby naked, bare, in blood from being born and just walk past? They crying. How many of y'all can do that right now? what other nations did to us. They walked past. They didn't care. One way or another. Read.
None I pity you
Mm-hmm.
to do any of these unto you,
Mm-hmm.
to have compassion upon you.
Mm-hmm.
But thou wast cast out into the open field to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born.
In the day that you was born, when you were a baby, you was cast out into an open field. Everybody can see it. You just out there though. Nobody cared. Nobody thought twice about you. They left you for dead. Read.
And when I passed by you
Mm-hmm.
and saw you polluted in your own blood.
He saw you polluted in your own blood, right? The children of Israel in Egypt, right? We was polluted in our own blood. So what did he do to us?
I said,
This is you, right? This is the children of Israel, but this is you, right? He saw you in your own blood, and what did he say?
live.
He told you to live, right? I want you to live. So when you live, when you're born again, so to speak, right? You become this baby again, right? He said live and do what?
Yea, and I said unto you, when thou wast in thy blood, live.
Uh-huh.
I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field.
I done caused you to multiply as the bud of the field. Now you growing up. Right, read.
As thou hast increased and waxen great.
You increased and waxing great. Right? You getting larger and larger. You ain't a baby no more, you're a child now. Read.
And thou art come to excellent ornaments.
Mm-hmm.
Thy dress of fashion.
Uh-huh.
And
you know when a woman child, she's growing up, her breasts start to come in, they start to fashion, right? She start to become a woman, right? Read.
And thine hair is grown.
The hair is grown, the whole nine. Read.
Whereas thou wast naked and bare.
Uh-huh.
Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love.
So now you was a baby, then you was a child. Now he said, now this time when I passed by, it was the time of love. You grown now, baby. Right? Read.
I spread my skirt over thee,
Uh-huh.
and I covered thy nakedness.
What is he talking about? What did he do? What did he just do right here? Bob just went over this last week. What did he do right here? He married us. You watch videos?
No.
You did? I got knowledge, man. You better step your game up. Y'all was here last week. He married us, right? No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. We got married. Read.
I swear unto you, and entered into a covenant with thee.
I entered into a covenant with you, right? Which means that woman had to vow that vow, right? To bound her soul. Read.
And saith, Yahuwah power, and thou becamest mine.
Uh-huh.
Then I washed thee with water.
I did what?
I washed thee with water.
Then I did the same thing that I'm telling people to do right now. To be washed with water. Right? Read.
Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee.
I thoroughly washed away the blood from you. The same things that you came from when you was in Egypt, when you was in your blood and your filthiness, doing all type of manner of sin, everything, I washed that away from you. I got that up off of you. Right? Read.
And I anointed thee with oil.
Uh-huh.
I clothed thee also with broidered works, and shod thee with badger skin, and girded thee about with fine linen, and covered thee with silk. I decked thee also with ornaments. I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck, and I put a jewel on thy forehead.
So we don't went over this before. We know that this woman was decked out. Right? Drop down to verse 14.
Verse 14. And thy renown went forth among the heathens.
So the same people who wouldn't even care about you when you was out there in blood didn't care about you, right? Now they like, man, you all grew up nice. Right? Read.
And thy renown went forth among the heathens for the beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness.
So he made us beautiful through him. Right? Read.
Which I had put upon you, saith Yahuwah power.
Well, what did you do?
But thou didst trust in thine own beauty.
You did what?
But thou didst trust in thine own beauty,
Uh-huh.
and playedst the harlot because of thy renown.
Now you done went back to them same youthful lusts. Right? I done did all this to you and for you. You done went back to those same youthful lusts that I brought you away from. Can anybody attest to that? You done came into the truth. You know how when you come into the truth, you feel all happy, you feel good, you get baptized, you feeling like you're on top of the world. But after a while, when you feel like you got that knowledge, some just start beating at the back of your head. Hey man, you remember when you used to such and such, such and such? You used to chill when you did this. Right? Those same thoughts that you had when you was in the world start to creep up on you. Because you ain't moving forward no more. You feel like you're an adult. You complacent. You good where you at. Now those same thoughts start to come up on you. And what do you do? You revert back to when you was in the world. You start doing the same things you did in the world, but this time you try to justify it while you in the truth. That's worse. That's why I told you I'd rather you been on this side than over here. I done did all this work for you. How many times you could have been killed? How many times you could have been out on the street? And the list goes on and on and on and on, right? Y'all had a brush with death earlier today, right? He preserved us. He preserved y'all today, right? Could you imagine him doing all of this? He making provisions. Like, your life is not even just your own. He played chess around you so you can get where he needs you to go. Somebody else might die tomorrow in order to open up a position on the job you might want. Ain't your fault. But he playing chess around you. He protecting you because you his. You bound by law. So he gonna hold up his end. But are we gonna revert and go back to those youthful lusts? Or are we gonna consecrate ourselves and we gonna give ourselves to him and worship from here on out? What we gonna do? He ain't playing on his end. He doing everything he gotta do. That time your bills couldn't get paid and money came up out of nowhere. Right? That time you needed transportation and it came up out of nowhere, helped you out. Right? All of these things happen because he played chess around you in order for you to do what you got to do for him. But if you're going to take that and throw it in his face, you deserve that. Plain and simple. You deserve it. Right? Where you at, Doc?
You know,
verse 15.
verse 15. But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playedst the harlot because of thy renown, and pouredst out thy fornication on every one that passed by. His it was.
His it was. Get Ezekiel 23:8. So I went back to those youthful lusts. I done did all of this stuff for you. Throw it in my face. We ain't talking about just Israel as a whole. We talking about individually. Are we going to go back and throw it in his face? We should. Ezekiel 23:8.
Ezekiel chapter 23:8. Neither left she her whoredoms brought forth from Egypt.
He said what?
Neither left she her whoredoms brought forth from Egypt.
He said you ain't even lead the whoredoms that you brought forth out of the land of Egypt. Hold what you got right there. Go to Leviticus 18. He said you ain't lead that stuff. Leviticus 18:1.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 1. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am Yahuwah your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
He said what?
After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
Don't go back to doing that stuff. He gave us the law, the whole rundown. Don't go back to doing that stuff. I done brought you up out of there. I brought you away from the people. I done separated you. I done killed a whole lot of people for you. Don't go back to doing that stuff. All right? Yeah. Anybody ever had like a dog? I use my Perry for example. You got a pit bull, right? Had the pit bull as a baby. You know what I'm saying? Trained him up. And say, hey man, he tells the dog this. You ever bite me or my babies, I'm gonna kill you. So All that stuff, the pit bulls be going rogue. No, you don't do that. All them other dogs I passed up on, I wouldn't catch you. Act up, and I kill you. It's the same way. I did all this good for you, but if you act up, I ain't got no choice. Right? So it says these things that she did in Egypt, she went right back to them. She didn't even leave them. She just got on that high for a minute. Oh man, he done saved us up out of here. And what to do? Go right back in Exodus chapter 16. What we do? We go right back into complaining, right back into the same people we was before. Right? Beforehand, we was in Egypt and we had to be allotted food. We had to work blood, sweat, and tears to get the things that we needed essential for life. Right? He done brought you out of that to bring you into something better. And now you complain. Exodus 16 and 3.
Exodus chapter 16 and verse 3. And the children of Israel said unto them, would too that Yah, we had died by the hand of Yahuwah in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread unto the full.
He said, man, would you rather us just die then? At least we was over there, we was at the flesh pots. We ate bread to the full, right? You had some spots where they told me, man, that food back there was way better than this stuff. Nah, that man dropping you bread from out of the shamayim and you complaining. Get 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 1. We got to understand, man, when he brought us up out of this, he brought us up out of death. Brought us into life. We can't revert back to this. We can't go back. Right? You got to go as a baby, to a child, and to an adult. Right? But you got to make the decision right here when you're a child to consecrate yourself to the Most High and say, I'm worshiping you from here on out. Right? When we at 1 Thessalonians 4:1, we almost finished.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, then we beseech you, brethren, exhort you by Yahushua HaMashiach, that as ye have received of us, how ye ought to walk and please the Most High.
Have y'all seen how you supposed to walk and please the Most High? Through the teachings that the Most High has allowed chosen seed to bring forth? Right? Read.
So ye would abound more and more.
So if you receive how to walk, that means you should actually be doing it. Right? Read.
For ye know what commandments we gave you by Yahushua HaMashiach, for this is the will of Yah, even your sanctification, that you should abstain from fornication, that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor.
Now he says that for this is the will of the Most High, your sanctification, that you would abstain from fornication. When he told you to leave those things that you done in Egypt in that Leviticus, the 18th chapter, what were those things concerning? Anybody know?
Not doing anything that we was doing before.
Right. Also, fornication. Fornication. That was a big thing there. You know what I'm saying? So, whether it be spiritual or physical, he brought you away from that. Right? Read.
That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor.
Anybody know how to do that? Anybody know how to possess your vessel in sanctification and honor? It's only 1, 2, 3. That's it. Let me just show a hand. Who know how to do it? How you doing? Present your body as a living sacrifice. How do you do that?
You give up your wants, which you were walking in how you want to walk, and you let the Most High lead you. You have to commit yourself to Him.
Commit yourself to the Most High. Let Him lead you. How else?
Study yourself every day.
God daily. How else?
Praying and fasting.
Praying and fasting. How else?
Keeping a law
Keeping the law. How else? Casting down imaginations that boast themselves against the Most High. How else? Reading the Word. Right? Keeping your eyes on the book. How else?
Prayer.
Prayer. How else? That's about everything? So, y'all heard those things, right? Should we fall off anymore?
But you may,
You may, but why?
because you would go back to,
You chose to go back. That's the point. We know. We ain't on the milk no more. You supposed to give yourself up when you offer the milk. You ain't on the milk no more. You know. So once you do it, you going back. You going backwards. And sad to say, that man told us in the book of Hebrews, if you going backwards like that, I can't do nothing to save you. I can't help you. Right? Where we at? Huh?
With
Thessalonians?
4, verse 5.
Yeah, read verse 5.
Not in the lust of whatever this word is,
Hey,
completion, like he said, even as the Gentiles, which know not Yah.
which knows not Yah. So we can't go back into those lusts. These lusts that we have, these were taught. You know what I'm saying? When you came up, you were taught how to feel certain ways. It was an agenda. These things were put into your brain. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you gotta like a woman that's this certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? Or in order to get money, you need to do this certain type of thing. These things were learned. You know what I'm saying? From Jump Street. We got to get away from all of that. We got to get away from those youthful lusts. Get 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Verse 11.
1 Corinthians 13 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a child.
When I was a what?
When I was a child.
When I was a what?
When I was a child.
When I was a what?
When I was a child.
When I was a child, what I do?
I spake as a
I
child.
spake as a child. Read on.
I understood as a child.
You understood as a child. Read on.
I thought as a child.
Mm-hmm.
But when I became a man.
But when I did what?
But when I became a man.
When I became an adult. When I knew what I needed to know to get salvation. What happened?
I put away childish things.
I had to put away those youthful lusts. If I'm a man, I can't be going around here talking about, you know what I'm saying? I can't be around here acting like a little boy. If I claim to be a man, if I claim to be a man of the Most High, I can't be going around here talking about let's go to the strip club. I can't do that. That's little boy stuff. That's baby stuff. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? When you become a man of the Most High, you can't be out here saying, oh, well, Most High work in mysterious ways. Why you can't do that? You can't find it nowhere in the book. You speaking as a child. You a man, you got to be able to find it. I got to be able to know where that's at. If you a man, if you a woman of the Most High, everything you do has to be backed up by the law because your soul is bound to it. Everything you do. Read.
For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as I also am known.
Get in 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 1. And Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoiceth in Yahuwah. Mine horn is exalted in Yahuwah. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation.
They rejoice in your what?
In her salvation.
Man, oh man. Sounds like some future stuff to me. Right?
Yep.
Read on. Matter of fact, since we talk about salvation, who's the author of the salvation that we supposed to get? Right? Who did he give the power to? His son, right? Remember I told y'all we was going to talk a little bit about the non-Messianics, right? And how when we come into this truth and we babies, we come to be children, adults, they are another part of those who send you back. Oh, this don't line up with this. This don't add up with this. But only a baby will feel that way because you don't have understanding. You ain't weaned off the milk enough to see it. Right? In verse 2.
Verse 2. There is none Kodesh as you, for there is none besides you.
Read that again. Read that again.
There is none Kodesh as Yahuwah.
There is none as Kodesh as Yahuwah. Mashiach told us that there is no one good but who?
Yeah.
But the Father, right? So is anybody more Kodesh than the Father? No. So we know that we could unlock this to the Most High. And agree? Read on.
For there is none besides you.
There is none beside the Most High. Right? Read.
Neither is there any rock like our power.
Hold on. Is that a difference? He says there's none beside Yah, but there's no rock like our Elohim, like our power.
Exactly.
Y'all see a difference?
Yeah.
Now where did he talk about the rock at? Not that rock. In order to get understanding, we have to go back to the one. Right? So he says there's none like Yahuwah, but
Neither.
in addition to what? There's no rock like our Elohim, right? Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 32. Let's see when he starts talking about this rock. Because now that you've become an adult, you got to be able to stand for what you believe in. You got to be able to stand firm on your foundation, which is the Father and the Son. Right? Deuteronomy chapter 32. Let's get is that verse 2? Start at verse 2 right quick, guys. Deuteronomy 32 and verse 2.
Deuteronomy 32 and 2. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of Yahuwah.
I will do what?
I will publish the name of Yahuwah.
You will publish whose name?
Yahuwah.
I will publish the name of Yahuwah. Whose name is this talking about? Whose name is it? Yahuwah's. Who does this name belong to? The Most High, right? I will publish or proclaim the name of Yahuwah. What else it say?
Ascribe ye greatness unto our master.
Wait a minute. Now, if you just read this plain, or just read it just for what it is, it sounds like you're going to proclaim the name of Yahuwah and ascribe greatness unto our Elohim, right? But he's telling you something right here. He's going to proclaim the name of Yahuwah, right? Anybody got their Strongs up? What's that word for ascribe? It should be Yafa or Yapa or something like that.
Yeah, Yahah.
Yaha, right? What does that mean?
To give, to provide.
Give or to provide. Now let's read that with the to give or to provide in its place. Deuteronomy 32 and
Verse 3.
verse 3. Read that.
Because I will publish the name of Yahuwah to provide ye greatness unto our Elohim.
He's going to provide greatness to our Elohim. Is that not? If it's Yah that this is talking about, Yah going to provide itself? No. He's talking about providing greatness to Mashiach. To Mashiach. It says, but I will publish the name of Yahuwah, provide you greatness to our Elohim. Right? This is talking about Mashiach. Don't get hung up as a child, if you're in this state, or even as an adult, on that whole non-Messianic movement. It's coming. It's here. It's strong. But you got to be able to stand your ground. You got to be able to stand on your own too. Right? And if you can't, get off that milk. Take in that sound doctrine. And be able to profess what you believe in, because you have sanctified yourself to the Most High. You bound yourself by law to the Most High and everything He come with. Right? Romans 12:1.
I want to read verse 4.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
About the rock.
Yeah, go ahead.
He is the rock.
Who's the rock?
His work is perfect,
Mm-hmm.
for all his ways are judgment
Mm-hmm.
of Elohim of truth.
Wait a minute. Didn't he say Yahuwah in the first one? And then prescribe greatness to your Elohim. Right? He said this rock is a what of truth?
He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a power of truth.
He is
And
an
without-
Elohim of truth. It's the same word that was used right there when he said prescribe greatness unto this person. Right? Read.
Iniquity, just and right is he.
Without iniquity, just and right is he. That was Mashiach. Right? This is the rock he was talking about. This is the rock that they was talking about in Samuel. You feel me? Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. I wanted to throw that in there. So because you done came back to being a baby, you done been weaned off of the milk, you're a child, right? Or an adult. What do you have to do? Romans 12 and 1.
Romans 12:1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Elohim, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, kodesh, acceptable unto Yah, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that is good and acceptable and perfect will of Yah. For I
It's simple, right? I don't have to expound on that, do I? Plain and simple. You done came, made yourself a child again. Give everything to the Most High, not just a part of you. Leave that those youthful lusts alone. Leave that stuff alone. It's time to be for real about it. We in the home stretch. We in the home stretch. Put that stuff behind you. Don't let it revisit you, because like what he said about those spirits that left that man, when they came back, 7 times stronger. All right? Leave that stuff where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Continue to be separate and kodesh unto the Most High. That, I say shalom. Questions, comments, concerns, anything?
So when you were saying that Mashiach was the rock and all that, I was kind of relating that to as he's actually the only Elohim we know is Mashiach, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, remember when he was talking to Thomas? He says, Thomas said, hey, when are you going to let us see the Father? Right? He said, you ain't been looking at me this long. He in me. You ain't seen him? Right? So he wants you to recognize I'm the one he been sent from Jump Street. When he told them, y'all have neither heard his voice nor seen his face, I've been the guy. You know what I'm saying? I've been that guy. So a lot of brothers get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? But when you got brothers like Quab around, you know what I'm saying, that can go through and show countless spots in the Tanakh where you see Mashiach and the Most High working in unison. You know what I'm saying? Or Mashiach is taking the position of, hey, I'm his right-hand man, come through me. You know what I'm saying? Countless times. But yeah, He's pretty much the only thing that we've heard and seen of the Most High. He gave us the Father's word. You know what I'm saying? From Jump Street. You got something?
Just like he said, whenever you read this, if you read it real slow and careful, you will see him all through it. How to be switching back and forth. But most people just read it and they see L-O-R-D there, and they automatically ascribe this to be the Most High. But pretty much the whole time, it be talking about him. And then when you learn the way that the Most High speaks, and the way that the Messiah speaks, it's always a difference. The Most High speak like this: have not my right hand did this? Have not my right hand went over and killed all of these people? The Messiah, speaking of the same thing with the L-O-R-D, say stuff like this: I stretched out the heavens, and I went over and did this. So the Father will be letting you know that it's me, when it's the Messiah, because he'll say, my right hand did it. Then the Messiah will speak as the right hand and say, I'm the one that did it. So once you see these differences, that's when it started to make sense to you. Because before that, you'd be like, wait a minute. It seems like it's two of them. You know what I'm saying? And that'll bring you confusion, and a lot of people, it's only one of them, man. You making stuff up, like, no, let's go through it. It's not that hard.
Somebody else? That's it? All right, y'all. Oh.
You know, I was thinking about that lesson. It was very good. But you say sometimes we pray and we ask for different things or things, but the Most High does not answer us right then. Sometimes we have to wait. It might not be the right time. It might be for some later time that he'll give it to you.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't always answer how we want him to answer.
Absolutely.
He answers us in the way that's best for us. So even what we pray may not ever happen like that, for whatever the situation was. And it answers and it works out. That's how he worked it out, and not us.
Absolutely.
And he will do that to let us know that it's not us. It's
Absolutely.
not you. I did this.
For example, Mashiach told that when he prayed to the Father, he says, give me the esteem that you gave me from before everything was, right? When was he asking for that to happen? Then, Father, I'm going through it. I want to be back where I was at. But when did it actually happen? After he had to go through all of that pain, after he had to go through all that suffering, after he had to die and come back, and then when he ascended up. So absolutely, things don't just happen right when you want them to happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through something to be able to tell the story of how Yah brought you through it. That's it. Everything he do is for his esteem. Everything. So no matter what you go through, you got to know, if you done prayed about it, and you done asked Yah to see you through it, if it don't happen to 10 years from now, when it happened, you think back on that prayer, man, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I finally got what you know, but sometimes you got to go through it.
You gotta look at the whole situation with Daniel too, right? Like when Daniel had prayed, right? And it took 21 days for the prayer to even get there, right? Because it was the Malachim behind the scene was in the water. Right. So it took 21 days before the prayer even get there. He said, yo, Daniel, I heard your prayer. But Gabriel was duking it out with dude. You know what I'm saying? So all these things is to show us this. You know what I'm saying? You got to have patience, like we did a lesson on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The whole thing about patience, because if it run out, he says you possess your soul in your patience, right? So a lot of people don't got no patience with this stuff. And as soon as it don't happen, that just ain't working for me.
Since y'all talking about prayer, is it in scripture that we're supposed to kneel, or is it an option to kneel and we pray?
Yeah, you can. You
I
can.
mean, it's
Like
just,
you got
you have to,
Abraham
though, it's not.
who Abraham laid on his face to pray. You know what I'm saying? When they was in the dirt, when they was mourning for somebody and they went up in prayer, you know what I'm saying? They would kneel down and so yeah, it's proper.
There's different ones. You got the stretch forth the hands. You got the fall on the face. That's the one that you more is likely like afraid about something. You know what I'm saying? So like go to Isaiah 1. Isaiah 1, pick it up at about verse 13.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1, and verse 13. Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Shabbats, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with it. It is iniquity, even a solemn meeting. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hate.
It does what?
My soul hate.
Go ahead.
They are trouble to me. I am weary to bear them. And when you spread forth your
When
hands,
you do what?
when you spread forth your hands,
When you spread forth your hands, that's the prayer right there. And the spread forth your hands and the opening up is like you coming to him with nothing. You know what I'm saying? No expectations, nothing in your hands. Read.
I will hide my eyes from you. Yeah. When you make many prayers,
Do what?
make many prayers.
So he already showed you how your hand's supposed to be, right? This is why we be doing this in the first place. But they was actually stretching them forth towards the Shamayim. Go ahead.
I will not hear you. Your hands are full of blood.
Full of what?
Blood.
So if your hands is full of blood, you don't hear it. And go back to that Proverbs 28. You know what I'm saying? You ignore the law, your prayers is an abomination to him. Go ahead.
Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Come now, let us reason together, saith Yahuwah.
So we see right there, that's one of the stretching forth the hand. Then we see other times when they was completely afraid. You know what I'm saying? Like an angel or something was there, they would drop all the way down because this was like, I'm really afraid at this moment. You know what I'm saying? And we know Islam has that type of prostrate yourself all the way down to the ground. It ain't nothing wrong with it, but we can see countless times where
Well, I'm talking about kneeling. I know they get all the way down. Their head touching the, literally touch the ground. Kneeling with your hands stretched forward.
Yeah, the kneeling is in there too, though. Let me get you.
So either way is reference and either way.
Because when you kneeling, you're humbling.
Right,
You're
that's
being humble.
basically what I'm
Sometimes you can't get down there.
Oh, yes, probably.
Should we always be facing the east too at all times whenever we pray? We can never just, like if we just sitting, we have to be facing the east, right?
It's not in the law that you got to do that. So I wouldn't say that.
It's definitely a custom, like he told you. He said when you're in captivity, you know what I'm saying, face towards the land when you pray, and he's gonna get you up out of your captivity. You gotta humble yourself. This is the whole experience of praying towards the land, right? But if you driving and you like, man, I gotta pray right now, you ain't about to whip the car around on the freeway like, you ain't about to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, it's not directly stated
Right.
in the law.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you got some cats who distort it and say, no matter what, when you pray, you have to. If you don't do it, he ain't gonna hear you. It's gonna be some people that say that. There's gonna be some people that do that. Why? Because people try to make law what ain't law. You know what I'm saying?
Scribes and Pharisees.
Scribes and Pharisees. So, I would say pray towards the east if you can, when you can. You know what I'm saying? We are in captivity. That is our homeland. We see examples of it in the book. But don't hurt yourself trying to do it. A prayer is a prayer. If your heart right with the Most High, he gonna hear it anyway. Hezekiah was on his deathbed, and he prayed to the Most High. He gave him 15 years. So, you know. Anything else? All right. Shalom.